Hello, guys. Welcome back to Bye Conversations. I am Luis,
I'm Ria.
and we are your conversations for today. Yay!
Yay! So, anong topic natin ngayon, Louie?
Well, yung title ng ating episode ay pinagkakaabalahan. So, Ria, ano pinagkakaabalahan mo ngayon?
Oh, wow. Ang dami, to be honest. So, where should we start? Like, on a professional level?
Yes, and then we could proceed with the personal level.
Okay. So, professionally, I don't think everyone knows this, pero I'm working two jobs. So, I have a full-time job as a medical education research and training specialist at a medical institute. So I've been working there for 2 years. Basically, despite its title, kasi parang the impression that people get when they hear my job is like I'm on the teaching field
Mm-hmm.
in medicine, which is not exactly my job per se. So my job is more on the back end side. So I do the admin tasks. I coordinate with the other departments, ganyan. And parang ako yung admin slash technical slash uh, back-end support ng dun sa institute namin na talagang nagti-teach. So yung mga educators namin, ako yung back-end support nila. And I'm also maintaining the database of our participants. Ako yung gumagawa ng certificates of participation for the speakers, ganyan. I'm also the handler of the official accounts, be it by phone, by email, or by social media. So, ako yung nagha-handle or oo, tama. Ako yung nagmamanage nung mga platforms na yun. So, that's basically my full-time job. My part-time job is an IELTS instructor. So, as the title implies, I teach IELTS. I teach the skills required for the students to get their target scores. So, before the pandemic, bale, class-based siya and I work 8 hours on Saturdays. Kaso, nung nag-pandemic and nung nag-lockdown, so hindi ka pwedeng mag-hold ng classes, ng physical classes. So, before or like the first few months of the pandemic, ang trabaho ko is mag-check ng papers.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos, they asked if I could come up with a schedule para mag-hold ng 3 to 4 hour classes. Tapos, that's what I did. I came up with a schedule and now we are following that schedule when we are holding online classes. So, I teach on Fridays and Saturdays. And then, I'm also doing some sideline work. Dami kong ganap, no? Professional
Uh-uh.
sorry.
Go on.
So, oo, dami kong ganap. So, I'm also teaching, kasi yung part-time ko na yon is for a specific company. Pero I'm doing also my own teaching of IELTS. So, like the materials are my own, the lessons are my own. Even naman during when I'm teaching in the company, the lessons are my own. Pero itong sa like freelance ko na pagtuturo, like the materials are my own, the slides are my own. Kumbaga, the way I teach is my own, unlike dun sa company na for 3 hours lang yung gagawin ko. We have an online shop. It's called Ria's Trading, named after me. So that's where we sell original headphones and earphones. And we make partnerships with other sellers na maging reseller kami ng products nila. And that's also that's also where I market my IELTS services. So yun lang. Yun na, enough na ako dun. Ikaw?
So before I answer your question, we might be at least a day late for this, but I just want to say happy Teacher's Day.
Thank you.
I salute you and all the teachers in the world for your task to be a beacon to the students, for yeah, for sharing your knowledge of fire as students light their way to life. So happy Teachers Day.
Mind blown. Well, it's been a good journey naman so far in my 4 years of teaching full time and part time. It's been a wild ride.
So to continue, so on a professional level, I am actually a process control technician. So that's my job title. So basically, what I do is I ensure that the production processes and systems in our company are in control. So apart from that, I also write and update standard operating procedures, and also I monitor and spearhead test runs for new products. I collect and analyze data. And once we have a new procedure for new products, once the standard operating procedures are written, I train the people involved on how to work on it. So basically, what I also do in my job is I do have to have intermediate to advanced skills in Excel, like, index and match functions, VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, and, slicers. And then, yeah, I don't have that much number of professional lists, unlike Ria. Yeah, so that's basically what I do on the day. Um, yeah, I work for a dried fruit packing company.
Well, we have been doing this for quite a while. You
Mhm.
and I both. Like we've been employed for a while.
Yes.
You in your job right now, and I have been shifting jobs since I graduated. So it's not um kumbaga parang it's hard to be an adult in this age,
Yes, of course.
especially like there are a lot of expectations. Siguro like part of it is also coming from the fact that we graduated from a premier university. So like to keep ourselves like sane, ganyan. We have to have something else aside from our job that
Yes.
we love to do, that it is something that we own, ganyan. So I would give the floor to you kasi pinasa mo sa akin yung responsibilidad the first time. So ikaw naman mag-explain about your personal ganaps.
Personal ganaps. So this personal ganap, I would say, are like activities that are food to your soul, because
Yeah,
your professional job feeds you, like feeds you, but this personal ganaps,
literally.
yeah, yeah, they feed you literally, but the personal ganaps are the ones that feed your soul. And your soul has an unquenchable hunger for food. So yeah, so on a personal level, what I actually do is I spend time, which is also helping me on a professional level. I still continue learning for a foreign language, so that's specifically Spanish. So I would go to Duolingo or do some sources, um, and learn the Spanish language. Because even though back in college, when I had to learn foreign language, the Spanish that was taught to us in college was more for the Spanish in Spain. So what I'm actually doing is I'm trying to distinguish the Spanish from Spain and from Hispanic America, because there are some differences in there. And so learning a foreign language is actually fueling my yearning for language. And to expand on that, I am also working and revisiting a project that I've started back in college. So I'm trying to work on a constructed language. So the constructed language, yes, the constructed language is somewhat similar to like the Dothraki and Valyrian languages of Game of Thrones or the Navi of Avatar. So I've started making, you know, constructed or artificial linguistic rules for it. Um, that's for the language side. And then for literature side, it's kind of it's kind of related to language side too. Is um, I actually try to create like portfolios or anthologies or collection of stories or insights from my conversation with the people that I interact with work. So I'm just writing or narrating what have been my interactions with them. So there's this collection that I'm currently doing. It's called Quesadilla. It's actually a wordplay of the Mexican dish quesadilla and the Tagalog phrase sadilla. So basically, quesadilla is actually what in the tongue. It's actually an attempt to put into situation of a foreign language speaker in a context where it speaks language, which is Spanish. So Spanish is my foreign language, and I interact with them at work. And since I already have a first language and a second language, um, I try to incorporate like linguistic fields in this collection of mine. So that's three of the things that I do to feed my soul. So how about you, Ria? What are your food for your soul?
Wow. How to compare to that? How to be on par with that? Um, well, I've been busy myself when it comes to, well, most of my time is really occupied with work, but yun nga, in order to feed my soul, I I invest myself in learning. Sorry about the dog. Anyway, so I'm learning French
Mm-hmm.
again. So back in high school, I already learned French, but since college, since college, I haven't been learning about it. I didn't relearn it as a subject because French was not offered anymore by the time it, that that we were allowed to take language electives, diba?
Mm-hmm.
Parang during our time when we were taking language electives, the only foreign language option was Spanish and an indigenous language. And I didn't take Spanish for specific reasons, and I won't specify them. So I didn't. Well, safe to say that I didn't take Spanish because it wasn't French. And really, French was what I was going for as a foreign language. So I didn't take it as a subject. Instead, I took the indigenous language elective instead for 2 semesters. And then um, right now, I'm relearning French. So since I need to like ground myself again in these trying times. It also gave me an opportunity to relearn things, and French is one of them. So same with Luis, my main platform for learning another language is Duolingo. But unlike him, I don't have an actual person to talk French to. So instead, my learning is really more on like a digital platform. It's
Yes.
like it's not something that I can apply to in. It's all theoretical, kumbaga. It's all
Yes.
in my mind. I also have this penchant for learning. So ano lang naman, I've been taking short courses. So I've finished my course in TESOL, or Teaching English as a Second and Other Language. That's what TESOL stands for. Or Teaching English as a Foreign Language, or TEFL. So I recently finished my course on that. I also took a short course on sustainability development. And now I am working on my master's in business administration by um, in Singapore. So I'm taking a modular course. I only started on the first two modules and I'm already dying inside. Like it's all I could analyze a text.
Mhm.
I could analyze poetry. I could analyze poems. Or I could analyze prose. But you cannot make me analyze math. That's what makes accounting difficult. I came to that realization when I took that first two modules. It's math. It's actually basic math when you look at it, but there's the analysis part that's more important. Like you look at the figures and you see, um, is this something that a business should be concerned about? Like
Mhm.
how did the data how did the numbers change in terms of assets, in terms of liabilities, in terms of um, I learned so much from the first two modules, pero it's like it's math and you have to analyze it. It's like a whole new sphere of learning, and it's exciting in a way, but like I have to be patient with myself then, not to take it to heart if I don't get things right away. Kasi I have this conflict, I have an inner competition inside me na since this is a master's degree, it's something that I should excel in.
Mhm.
Alam mo yun?
Yes.
Like how I did in college. Pero like, I should also have this mindset na it's modular naman, so I can take it at my own pace.
Face.
And at the same time, it's a whole new field. It's not like my forte to begin with.
Yes.
So I have to be patient with myself na okay, these are things you're not gonna understand right away, and that's okay. So yun yung wino-work on ko na mindset. So apart from studying in general, I'm also like getting back to reading. So my friends know that I am posting regular quotes or regular exercises. It's called 365 Days of Hope. And I started this around September, which is a very unlikable date to, or
To
which is a
start.
very unlikable month to start, right? It's practically the last stretch of the year. Pero who says you can start your year in any month
In
of the
any,
year,
yes.
right? Who says January is the only year where you can start your year? And this is the pandemic, for crying out loud. No one has a fixed frame of time
Yes,
anymore.
anymore. Yeah.
So to be honest, I'm not doing it as regularly as
You
I
should.
used to. But I am trying because it's hard to like come up with um it's hard to come up with devotions from a certain quote or from a certain exercise. And like the goal kasi of 365 days of hope is not just a devotion for me, but it's also like what do I want to share with the people around me in relation to that quote or in relation to that exercise. Like how would I make them feel that we are in this together in the journey, you know?
Yes.
So I'm also doing some light reading. And by light, I mean this level of light. This
Baliktad siya.
level of light. Yeah. This level of light reading. So I hope you didn't see the title, but if you did, it's Midnight Sun
By Stephanie Mayer.
by Stephanie Meyer. So yun, that's what I've been doing. So really, the key in order be to remain ourselves, I suppose, would be to not occupy ourselves too much with the work, but find ways in order to keep us balanced in
Mm-hmm.
terms of our work and our personal life. For me, as someone who works from home, I may have to juggle my time with my work and my studies and what little time I have left to do other stuff. But for those, lalo na dito sa Philippines, kasi um, I was I was out yesterday and I saw the line of people in the MRT,
Mm-hmm.
the Ayala station, kasi there's a staircase papuntang station ng MRT,
Mm-hmm.
and it was it was really long, and the movement was practically nothing. The line wasn't moving at all. So umaabot na siya ng SM Makati. So in short, it's very long. And like when you're not working from home, it could take so much of your time just waiting for public
Transpo.
transport. And if you're updated with how um the public or the government is handling the public transportation system here, it's really not working out that well for the Filipino masses. Kasi nga, they wanna use the beep cards pero it's not working kasi ang haba din ng pila for the beep card and ang mahal ng beep card. So yung mga um, blue collar workers natin, like our construction workers, our plumbers, our um, yung hindi office based,
Mm-hmm.
kumbaga, like those who work in the field but still need to go outside are like occupied with not only the time but also with the money just to get from their house to their workplace. Yung mga ganun. For me kasi, you have to have something in you that you can claim na it's 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 not your work alone that makes you you. Parang ganun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to expand on Ria's point, just to make a comparison. So people when people go to work in the Philippines, most people rely heavily on public transportation. And then as Ria mentioned that there are lapses with this public transportation that we have in the Philippines. So on the other hand, here in the US, most people have their own um, means of transportation. So that's what ties people into like a contract that they have to pay for their car, that they have to go to work and able to pay for their car. Because on top of paying the bills, on top of paying your house loans, your apartment contracts, you also have to pay for your car. You also have to pay for your insurance and everything. So people might find it you're on the US, so you earn more. Well, basically, that's not really the case because sometimes people do double jobs, sometimes people do overtimes and still not able to pay the basic necessities here. So some people would spend so much time on their work that they don't really have time for their personal life. It's like you're spending more time on your work instead of spending time with your family and with yourself. So I think what Ria is trying to say is you have to um, know like the your boundary for work and for your personal life.
So with that, I guess we can end our conversation right there. And now, to your favorite part, we are going to have our dun, 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 literature trivia. Ding ding
Ding
ding
ding
ding
ding
ding
ding
ding
ding
ding ding. Ding.
ding. Okay, so it's my time to share a literature trivia because the last episode it was Ria. So last episode we learned from Ria that the Gutenberg Bible is considered to be the first published book in the world. And then we also expanded on this by discussing that the Bible is also the most printed work of all time. To continue on this premise, Did you know that the Bible is also the most translated work in the world? It has been translated about about or more than 600 languages. However,
Wow.
yes. And then actually if you look into like individual translation of the New and Old Testaments, it's actually spanning to more than 2000 languages. But 600 languages, that's for the entire book. But if you separate the Old and New Testament, the numbers will change. It will go up.
Mhm.
And if you take out religious works from the list, the most translated literary works are actually one is The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. And correct me for my French on this one, Ria. The second one is The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint Exupéry. So these two literary works on top of the list have been translated in at least 300 languages. So the reason why there's two literary works on top of the list is because of the number of publishers that the sources consider. Some sources consider um, only the independent or established publishers, while some sources would also account those self-publishing companies or self-publishing people. So you might find sources where the books have only been translated in 260 languages, while some would say 382 languages. So it matters with what you consider as published. That's why those two are actually changing. You might find Pinocchio as the most translated literary work. You might find The Little Prince as the most translated work. So, but for sure, you would know that they have been translated in at least 300 languages in the world.
That's interesting. So, well, both I have read, not to invalidate Pinocchio or whatever, but like since the original work of the Little Prince is French,
Mhm.
so and in order for it to be more accessible to the people, it had to be um translated into different languages to make it more accessible to the world. Unlike Pinocchio, I'm not sure
It was
the
it was originally in Italian.
oh, it was originally in Italian, but like si Pinocchio kasi has been translated to different platforms
Mhm.
na hindi na lang siya book.
Yes.
It's also a movie, it's also a children's story, unlike The Little Prince where it's just a book and recently been a movie.
Yes, by itself. It's always whole as a book.
Yeah.
Or baka may bias ka lang kasi, it's French. There you have it. There's your literature trivia for the day.
So thank you guys for having fun with us again today. And we hope that you keep yourselves productive, both professionally and personally. So once again, I'm
And
Ria,
I'm Luis.
and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.